Hiya gobshites, my name is Stovetop and welcome back to the third episode of the
Ultimate Movie Rank,
where I attempt to rank as many movies as I can before death spits torpedoes into my living room. Today we'll be taking a break from our look at the Amazing Spider-Man trilogy to take a look at Spider-Man's more interesting adventures. You see, while we were getting the Amazing Spider-Man here in the United States, Japan was getting their own Spider-Man series. The series was a result of a 3-year contract between Marvel and the Toei company, in which each company could use each other's properties however they deemed fit. Marvel didn't do much with the deal, only using it to create a comic book adaptation of the Shogun Warriors toy line. Toei, on the other hand, took full advantage of the opportunity. They produced Battle Fever J, a Super Sentai program originally developed as a counterpart to Captain America, alongside an animated TV movie, Tomb of Dracula, based on the comic book of the same name. Spider-Man's place in the deal was originally planned as a sidekick in a series that never came to fruition. In this series, he would have appeared exactly as you see him in the Marvel comics. However, as time went on, he was pushed to the main character of his own series, and in that process, a few changes were made. No more was there a radioactive Spider, Peter Parker, Uncle Ben, or any of Spider-Man's iconic rogues gallery. Instead, we get the story of motorcycle racer Takuya Yamashiro, who witnesses the space warship Marveler as it crash lands on Earth. Takuya's father, who happens to be a space archaeologist, investigates the crash only to be killed. Takuya follows his father to the spaceship and runs into the last known survivor of Planet Spider, and upon doing so, does what any rational person would probably do, and passes out. While passed out, the alien puts a device on Takuya's wrist which injects him with the alien's blood, giving him spider-like abilities. This device is also used to activate his costume and control the Marveler alongside, of course, shooting webs. When Takuya awakes, the alien explains that he was on a mission to stop Professor Monster and the Iron Cross Army in their plans to take over the universe, and needs Takuya to take on where he left off. Takuya takes on the responsibility and suits up as Supaidâman to save the Earth from Professor Monster and the Iron Cross Army. So essentially, they took Green Lantern's origin story and slapped Spider-Man's face on it. Supaidâman, more commonly referred to as Japanese Spider-Man, began airing to the Japanese public on May 17, 1978. The show ran for 41 episodes before being cancelled on March 14, 1979. All 41 episodes of the series were made available for streaming on Marvel's official website in 2009, including the movie, which appeared as Episode 0 despite taking place between Episodes 10 and 11 of the series. The film premiered on July 22, 1978 at the Toei Manga Film Festival, giving it an official release outside in American territory. The film's qualification as a quote-unquote movie is debatable, seeing as it's only 23 minutes long and plays out like any other episode of the series, with the exception of it being filled in a widescreen format. That being said, I have decided to allow it on the rank, seeing as it did get an official release and is officially called Spider-Man the Movie. I know including a short film on the list might get a few of you guys angry, but at the end of the day, this is my list, and whatever gets included on it is up to me. You have no power here. I do what I want! Now, this film and series is often compared to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and for good reason. You see, while this deal was in place, it was none other than Stan Lee who had the idea to take the Super Sentai program and translate it for American audiences. He wanted to do this by keeping all the action set pieces and refilming all the story elements with an American cast. This idea would of course be used by Haim Saban to create the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It's crazy to think that the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was once almost a Marvel property. Even crazier to think that the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was originally published by 20th Century Fox, which is now owned by Disney. This means not once, but twice was there an opportunity to have the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in the MCU. Where's that extra dimensional cable box when you need one, am I right? Needless to say, we're looking at a Spider-Man adventure that's far different than anything that we're used to. Now that we've gotten all that boring context out of the way, let's take a look at 1978's Supaidâman the Movie.
Plot.
The story of this film plays out exactly as you would expect for any normal episode of a Super Sentai style show. Now I'm gonna quickly go over the entire story of this film. Spoiler alert ahead, but honestly, if you're worried about spoilers for a 23-minute long Japanese film that never got a DVD release, maybe you gotta rethink your priorities a bit. Regardless, here's the timestamp for anybody who's concerned. The film begins when Takuya wakes up from a dream where he, as Spider-Man, is trapped in a shipping container and is getting buried by packing peanuts. The movie never explains it, so neither will I. Let's move on, shall we? He hears his sister scream as she's being attacked by members of the Iron Cross Army. He suits up and fights them on a local rooftop, while the entire situation is being overlooked by a creepy old man. Takuya returns home to the phone ringing and his siblings missing. When he picks up the phone, the creepy old man reveals that his siblings had been kidnapped and brought to a local hotel in room 813. When he gets there, a steel door closes over the window and traps Spider-Man inside, where the old man reveals himself. His name is Juzo, and he reveals that his siblings were not actually kidnapped, just invited to the hotel pool to spend the evening. Juzo reveals that he leaked information to the Iron Cross Army in order to have them attack Takuya's family and have Takuya reveal himself as Spider-Man. He claims this was the only way to get a chance to talk to Spider-Man face to face. The only way? The only way, you say? Why did you actually leak information to the Iron Cross Army? Wouldn't it be easier just to stage the attack and make it look like the Iron Cross Army, rather than actually leak information to your enemy? God dang it, people are stupid. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Juzo is part of a secret organization specifically built to defeat the Iron Cross Army, but he leaked information to them just to talk to Spider-Man. Juzo then explains that a series of oil freighters have been attacked by a giant shark that spits torpedoes. Yeah, it's gonna be one of those adventures. Before Juzo can confirm a partnership with Spider-Man to take down the fish, the Iron Cross Army approach the hotel. Spider-Man leaves to take them down, leaving an opportunity for a couple of the soldiers to shoot tear gas into the hotel room, causing Juzo to enter a coughing fit where he stumbles out of the hotel room and down an open elevator shaft where he is caught by a net at the bottom. Juzo is kidnapped by Professor Monster and his apprentice, Amazonas, who plan to torture Juzo into revealing the true identity of Spider-Man. I'm not gonna lie, this fiendish little plan is probably the most traditionally Spider-Man thing in this entire film. Spider-Man, of course, comes to the rescue and saves Juzo, causing Amazonas to send a helicopter chasing after them. The helicopter leads Spider-Man to the beach, where Amazonas and Sea Devil, the fish guy, eventually catch up. Sea Devil, being the monster of the piece, grows to giant size, causing Spider-Man to command Marveler to change Leopardon! Causing Marveler to change into a giant humanoid robot and fight Sea Devil. Leopardon throws his sword into Sea Devil's mouth, causing him to explode. Juzo and Spider-Man then enter a partnership, and the movie ends. I'm not upset at the story of this movie, seeing as it is just another episode of the show that was just released in wide format, but as a fan of the Power Rangers, I've seen this a million times, so I'm not exactly thrilled by any of it. For something marketed as Supaidâman, the movie, I just expected a little bit more. Then again, I did get a giant shark monster that spits torpedoes, and that's pretty dope. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Visuals.
The visuals here are pretty much as you'd expect from a late 70s TV movie. Just like the Amazing Spider-Man series, I'm not a huge fan of the Spider-Man costume, but I will admit that this version does a lot more right. The other characters don't really stand out in any way. Professor Monster is your stereotypical villain alongside Amazonas, but the whole series has this very unique Japanese Super Sentai feel, which I really appreciate. It makes it fun to kind of visit this version of Spider-Man.
Editing.
The editing in this film is absolute garbage. This film has this weird habit of repeating the same shot over and over again as if it adds intensity to the action sequence. Like this scene. Or perhaps this one. Or if those weren't good enough for you, check out this one. I have no idea who decided that this was a good idea, but it feels like a chimpanzee edited this film. It's super obnoxious. Everything is so jumpy and choppy, it makes it feel like the editor of this film was doing it with hedge clippers on a pogo stick.
Sound.
The sound of this film was taken directly out of a Looney Tunes cartoon. Everything has this weird, obvious sound effect that feels completely out of place. The most obvious example of this is at the beginning of the film when Spider-Man first fights the Iron Cross Army. I don't know about you guys, but when I hear that sound, I don't think soldier jumping through the air. I think toy laser gun that I bought at Toys R Us, or would have bought at Toys R Us if Toys R Us was still a thing. That being said, the theme song of this series does bring it up a few notches. After watching this movie, I legitimately could not get the theme song out of my head. It's catchy for all the dumbest reasons, and I love it.
Ranking.
So this movie brings me to a weird middle ground when it comes to the ranking. While it is technically the worst of the films that we've looked at thus far, it is also one of the most unique. It is such a unique oddity that I was completely entertained the entire way through. Unlike 1977's The Amazing Spider-Man, which is pretty much a snore fest from beginning to end. That being said, I don't want to put it too high on the rank because it is so unorthodox. So I've decided to sandwich it snugly in between 1977's The Amazing Spider-Man and 1978's Spider-Man Strikes Back. While Supaidâman the movie is certainly one of the weirder entries on our rank, it is also one of the most unique. I am continuously surprised at Marvel's willingness to accept this version of Spider-Man even to this day. Takuya's version of Spider-Man was included in the Spider-Verse comic book, Leopardon and all. He has even been teased to appear in the sequel to 2018's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and I cannot wait. I would absolutely love to see an animated version of Leopardon show up on the big screen. Until next time, this has been the Ultimate Movie Rank. Make sure to tune in next time when we finish our look at the Amazing Spider-Man trilogy with 1981's Spider-Man The Dragon's Challenge. To view the complete rank, go to www.ulickstovetop.com and click UMR, or click the link in the description below. Bye ya!
He's easy, breezy, beautiful. My